Hello. Today we will conclude our tutorials. This will be the last tutorial for you, and we will look into different issues. Now, the first thing is that as we follow up from the where we left in the lecture, Heritage BIM. So I will quickly show you how we deal with the processes of Heritage BIM. Now, here what you see is this is a software called Reality Scan. Okay, and this is a 3D scan that I have created, 3D digital photogrammetry output that I have created using drone photography. Okay, unfortunately the original drone photos are not in my computer anymore, so you basically see the actual model that came out of it. And this is a site that, let me see, how did we do it? Yeah, we zoom in like that. So this is actually a concrete reinforced concrete stairwell that was in Italy and in Ivrea, Italy, which we studied this summer. And I took like hundreds of photos of that site when I was there, and I basically used these photos to create a digital model of that site. Now the idea is that you use like these are all photos that were taken. These were all taken with drones, and these were taken with cameras. Okay, so I'm wondering if I have any other photos that I can share with you. Like these are the drone photos, for instance, of the house that we were working at. So this is the stair that is from that house. Okay, so let me make it full size. Yeah, so this is how I took photos, and like what you do is you take multiple photos that are overlapping, and in digital photogrammetry you use structure from motion software to create a digital 3D digital model of that actual building. So, okay, so as you can see, this is myself, and I'm operating the drone, and this is the building. So yeah, this is, I think the stair was here underneath this tree. So this is what we were dealing with for that particular object. And all these photos are basically combined with the structure from motion software. And in this case, this software is Reality Scan. So it's a free software for academic use, and I think it's free now for everyone. And you can create very highly detailed three-dimensional objects. So with Heritage BIM, what we are trying to do is we create first we need to capture the site, right? And in this case, like you can even capture the texture on the wall. Okay, so you capture the existing situation, which you could use 3D laser scan, which you experienced last summer, right? And also you can use digital photogrammetry, which is done by either terrestrial, basically with a camera on the ground yourself, or with a drone that you fly and take photos. And this software basically, once you load them in, and actually in this case, I wonder if I have I have the markers. So these are the markers that I was using. So you use markers to basically connect these different photos together to create this very advanced, high resolution, let's say 3D model. Now, once you do that, the reality capture model, you can export it. And what I do is I export it to another software that's called Recap. I wonder if I have it here now installed. Yeah, so that's Recap. It could be here. let me see if it runs. So you start a recap project. Okay, we used to use recap with my students here at Matthew for capturing, let's say, for capturing the yep, this is the last one that I think used. So let me open that project. Yep, this is it. So you can see the dots, the points. Okay, and so these points are created in the software. So these software would have different different ways to browse around. Okay, and then what you do is you basically load this into your Revit model. Okay, let's get rid of this one. So let's get rid of this one too. Yep, and let's close this one. So you basically load it into Revit. Now the next step is to create a simple parametric object out of that model. Now in this case, what we have created was a very simple wall. Okay, so as you can see, now what you need to understand is that the real wall itself is not perfect. Okay, so it has many undulations, maybe some crudeness, etc. So you need to make sure that the simplification basically is basically serving the purpose that you want to achieve. Okay, so in that case, you take sections. For instance, if you go to this section, and in the section view, you can see this is the actual digital wall that we create, but this is the dots represent the real wall. The real wall is a little bit tilted. It's not perfect. Okay. Now the question here is when you're representing the history, the heritage, how do you want to basically simplify this wall? Like maybe you can create a mesh that is simplified but still shows the distance between like this edge and this edge. Okay, so this is it's a bit tricky, and it's something that you need to keep in mind. Okay, so yeah, this is the heritage BIM side. There's another thing that we need to do is basically let me see if I have that file too. I think we may have it. Salvetti Marco, the photogrammetry and stair project, the villa. Where's the villa project? Stairs. I used to have the villa. I have to find the villa. Just give me a second. Villa Salvetti. No, not that. The model. Yeah, here we go. I think this is the last one. And this is group 1, it says. Okay, let's open this file. So what you do is you use both drawings. Here we go. This is that building. Okay, and you use both the drawings and also the digital photogrammetry. Now in this case, we are adding extra information like these. Okay, so this is a biograph. Okay, biograph is basically some deterioration in concrete that we are documenting. Okay, so we added these, for instance. I wonder if there are others edit. No, this is a bit. Yeah, here I think we have something here. Yeah, this one is a crack. Okay, this was added as an object, and if you go to the object, okay. Not this one, but for the biograph, if I'm not wrong, we should have some data. No, No, it's not there. But you can, what you can do is like we added in other projects links to online repositories. So that was the idea. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of this one. I will close these files. So this is the Heritage BIM side. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show you was let's open this project. Okay. Few methods or ways, let's say, to do different representation related activities. Okay, so I'll go to that. But before that, what I want to do, I want to pause for a second. Okay, and I just wanted to see the time. Right, now we will continue with our model. Now, the last thing that we want to do is we want to work with the landscape, right? So massing and site. So this is what we will work on. Massing and site allow us to create topography. Okay, so topography is something that we need, right? So for that purpose, we use this command called toposolid. So you can create a toposolid from sketch, okay, or from an import. So let me quickly show you how it works, but with a new project, let's say, okay. And meanwhile, we will continue working on that one. So for a new project, I want to show you how to import, how to add the toposolid from scratch. You go to Massing and Site, toposolid, create from scratch. Okay. Now this is another object, just like a floor, okay, or just like a surface-based object. So it says toposolid, and if you go to Edit Type, you can duplicate. You can say toposolid arch 204, and then you can go and edit again layers, structure. You can change it to material earth. Okay, let's go. Let's see if there is earth. Yep, here we go. And let's say thickness like 200 centimeters, and then we can insert up a membrane. Okay, membrane, and then we can add. Do we have a membrane for the ground? No, I don't think we have this felt. No. Let's go to the material library, and so for like, do we have install? No. Miscellaneous, do we have it here? Gravel, mulch, felt. Yeah, we can use roofing felt. So I'm going to use roofing felt as a layer on earth. Okay, then oh, actually I put it wrong, but anyway, I'm going to insert, let's say, substrate. Okay, and gravel. Okay, do we have gravel here? Gravel, no. Let's go back to the list. AC materials, miscellaneous, gravel. Yeah, this is what I'll be adding. Okay, and let's say we put like 50 centimeters of gravel. Let's put this membrane up. Okay, and then let's insert again substrate, and again earth maybe. Okay, but this time let's make it like 30 centimeters, and then let's add another substrate. Okay, and then for that we will add grass. Okay, Grass. Yeah. So basically, oops, it didn't work. Grass. Okay. And for that, let's put like 10 centimeters. Okay. Now what we did is we created a layer of earth like 2 meters, and 50. Then we have gravel for draining the water, maybe. Then on top of it a membrane. Then on top of it earth. And on top of it grass. Okay. So in total, it's like 300 centimeters. Let's make this one 40. So let's make it perfectly 300. Okay. All right. So let's say okay. Now next thing is, of course, as you can guess, we will create a rectangle. Let's make it large like that. Okay. Like this is 300 meters by 100 meters, a large area. Then let's finish it. Once we finish it, if you look at it in 3D, okay, especially if you look at it in textures, no, maybe realistic, it's green. As you can see, it's just grass. Okay, you can see it's grass, it's made of layers, so that's what it is. All right, now the next thing that we want to do, let's go back to hidden line. We go to the site plan view. Okay, take this one and then add points. Okay, now here let's define where the 0 is. 0 could be somewhere in the middle, like we can put points for 0, like as you can see it's 0 now. 0, 0, like these points will basically determine where this 0 line is. Okay, like that. Okay, now let's add plus 100, okay, like 1 meter from 0. Okay, tab. So okay, as you can see, now we are increasing the height. So wherever we put points, it's plus 1. Let's make it okay, and also like edges, because edges are also with height. Then let's make it like 200. Okay, and I suggest we put the 200 on top like that. Okay, like that. Okay, now let's make minus 100. Okay, and that could be somewhere here. And that's it. So I'm done. Let's have a look at it in 3D. As you can see, now we have a very nicely shaped topography. Now on that topography, we can also, if you click on it, we can make subdivisions like that. Okay, a subdivision could be, let's say, a road. It could be a platform that is like at certain height. Using the topography, you can simplify the toposolid. You can make excavations. Okay, so all these basically work with topography. Now this is one way of doing it. Let me get rid of this one. Okay, let's create another toposolid. We will use the same thing, but this time I want to use just wait, let's get rid of that. I want to use this create from import, but first we need to import the geometry. So let's go to the site plan, and I'm going to import a CAD file. Okay, it's like import CAD. So click import CAD, and then for that I'm going to go to the D drive. I think it was here. Yep, I'll use this file. This is something that I received previously from somewhere else. Now if you I made a mistake. I didn't make any changes. Just wait, it won't work. Nope. Control Z. Okay, let's delete this one again, and let's do again import CAD. Now this is a file, but positioning manual center is okay. Okay. The import units are meter. Okay. Place at levels 1. Okay. Now if I click OK, now you can see the file. I added it. Now if I go and have a look at it in 3D, as you can see, this is a site at 40 meters above sea level, and the surveyor, Harita Mühendisi, right, they gave me the file that has also a triangular mesh. Okay, so this is what I need, a triangular mesh, so that I can create my TopoSolid out of that. Okay, now this is there. So I go to Messing and Site, TopoSolid, create from import, and then create from CAD, and then I click and use this CAD file. I can see all the layers, check none, but I'll be using üçgen model, okay, which is triangular model. So if I click OK, then it creates the TopoSolid. Now I can even like delete the CAD file or hide it. Let's delete it. Okay, not a good idea, but still, just to be able to show you clearly. Now, as you can see, the TopoSolid is created out of this CAD file. Okay, it works perfectly. Now, on that, of course, you can put site components. Like if you go to the site plan, you can put different trees. Okay. Or you can, yep, I put one out of the site. So these are the things that you can put, or again, let's go to my Messing and Site. You can put parking lots, you can draw property lines, you can label the contours. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, you take it from here and then you draw here. Then all the contour lines are labeled based on, this is 48 meters from sea level, so that's how it is labeled. Okay, so you do that, and it's just like that. So if you go to the 3D, you can see these like that, and if you go to realistic, they will turn into perfect trees, just like that. Okay, sun path on, continue with current settings, shadows on, yeah, shadows on, and yeah, I think it's something that you can play with. All right, so I'm not going to waste more time on it. Now, the next thing that we want to look into is, this is the site. I don't know if I told you about, no, I don't know if I told you about earlier about the True North. Okay, let me see. Let's go and have a look at it with the site plan. Yeah, now with Revit, what we do is, like, you have this strict north, south, east, west, right? So when you start modeling, you basically consider your building to be orthogonally, like 90 degrees positioned or oriented towards the sun. But in reality, it's not always the case, right? So our buildings could be like 20 degrees tilted, and like what we call south here could be southeast, for instance. Okay, now orientation is project north here. Let's change it to true north. Apply. Nothing happens. Okay, because true north is not adjusted. So what is true north? So you go to manage. Okay, and then you go to position. Okay, rotate true north. Now we are in true north view. We go and rotate true north. Okay, so this is how we will do. Okay, and basically we take this one and let's say we turn it around like 10 degrees. Okay, now the building is tilted 10 degrees towards east, the north. Okay, the south is facing southwest. Now this is the true north. Now what you can do is, in this view, for instance, you can go to annotate, for instance, okay, and then you can put a symbol, okay, and in this case north arrow, okay, and then if you put north arrow now like that, okay, so this is the north arrow, okay, and if you use detail line to draw the arrow properly like that, okay, this is north, and our building is a little bit tilted, okay, but the thing is, you cannot model like that, okay, so this is only for like when you are done and when you are presenting, okay, or sometimes when you present, you want the building to be perfectly orthogonal to the paper, but north side could be a little bit tilted. That's also a possibility, and in such case, instead of true north, we say project north, and the whole building is now tilted again, and the true north, the north sign rotates, okay, like that. So this is the idea. So this is how you can consistently place your drawings on the paper based on their, let's say, position or orientation on Earth. Okay. Now, since we are done with the north issue, let's continue with representation in BIM. As I have told you earlier before, many times, BIM allows us to basically create, let's say, two-dimensional or three-dimensional representation material, drawings, okay, perspective drawings, 3D diagrams, colored, let's say, schemas, etc. These all can be done, let's say, from the model that we have on the go directly. Okay. Now, for that purpose, what we need to do is we will be using sheets, and the other thing that we need to focus on is that we're using these views, which are orthogonal views, right? Plans, sections, elevations, isometrics, so plus isometrics or perspective drawings. We use these to model. Okay, we don't draw, but we model, but we use the views, orthogonal drawing views for modeling. Okay, now all these orthogonal representations can also be converted into drawings that we want to print. Okay, if you remember, I always told you this is like the scale. What you see is what you get. So this is how it will be printed, especially if I get rid of that thin line. This is how it will be printed on paper. Like if I go to level 1, if I zoom in, all these thick lines will be thick lines, okay, and all these bubbles, everything will be appearing in the project as they should, okay, when they are printed in 1/100 scale. If I go to 1/, let's say 50 scale, as you can see, these bubbles are smaller. They are not printed smaller, but the drawing is bigger. Okay, now the drawing is twice the size, okay, in terms of the, of course, right, 1/100, 1/50, the size 50, 1/50 is a larger scale drawing, so things get larger. Now, if you turn off thin line, so this is how you get these. Now, I want to show you one more thing. Like if you can override visibility and graphics in these drawings. Okay, for instance, if I get here, let's create a drawing. Okay, level 1, duplicate view, duplicate. So level 1, let's rename it. Okay, level 1, 1/50. Let's say construction. drawings. Let's CD, construction documentation. Sorry about that. So let's rename it that way. Okay, let's scale is 1/50. Perfect. Now what I want to do is I want to fill these columns with pure black. Okay, so what I do is in the view I go to graphic visibility overrides, click edit. Now here I go to structure columns. Okay, structure columns, yeah, here they are. Okay, structure columns. So if I go to structure columns, cut, okay, lines and patterns. Lines are okay, but patterns, let's go to override. So background, foreground, visible, no override. When there is no override, they appear as they are with like this concrete texture. But if I choose pattern, solid fill, okay, and if I choose color, black, okay, they will appear pure black. Click OK, apply, OK. As you can see now, all columns are appearing filled with black. Okay, so this is one way of, let's say, working with the representation of the model elements. Okay, another thing that you can change is, of course, the line thicknesses. Okay, now if you go to, again, like this the drawing, the wall, the outer lines are thick. How are they, you know, decided? If you go to visibility graphics overrides, if you go to, let's say, walls, okay, walls, and if you go to like common edges, non-core layers, you can change all these. Okay, so but you can change everything too. When it is cut, the lines override. What is the normal, let's say, representation? Well, we have to figure that out, but you can change the pattern to line pattern. We can do that actually for the annotation. Section lines, I think we have section lines here. Do we have it? Yep, sections. No, it's not that. How about models, sections? Do we have it here? No, I think we have it somewhere else. Object styles, I think we have it in object styles. But you can change that. For instance, if you go to manage, okay, yeah, object styles. Yeah. So annotation objects, for instance, if you go to section line, see? And broken section line, black, solid, broken section line, dot. Instead of dots, we can say dash dot, okay? Or double dash, dash dot, dash dot. We can use dash dot. Let's have a look at it, how it looks. Apply, okay. Oop, it didn't work. Oh, it was solid. We have to change it. Wait. Manage again. Object styles. Oh, no. Manage. Manage again. Object styles. Okay. Annotation objects. Section. Section line. The regular one, not solid, but we change it to dash dot. Okay. And line weight is 1. You can change line weight to 1, 2, 3, 4. And how do they change? We will see now. As you can see now, the section line is dash dot. Okay. For grids, you can use a different style. Now, you can even change the boxes and everything there. But if you go to I think under additional settings, line weights, if you go to line weights, you can see for 1/50, one line weight is 0.18 millimeters. So when it's printed on paper, it's 0.18 millimeters thick. Okay, so if it is line weight 5, it's 0.7. If it's 6, 1 millimeter thick. Okay, so let's go back to object styles again. If we go to walls, okay, walls. Now for walls, the cut is 4, okay, line weight. So if you can, like, if you want, we can make it like 6, okay, black solid default wall. Let's apply, click OK. As you can see, now they are thicker. So you can change the appearance of your drawing on paper by these object style settings, okay, and you can make the drawing perfectly customized for your needs. What else do we use? Well, we use annotation. Okay, annotation is very important. In Turkish, we call it plan notları. Okay, annotation elements are like the dimensions. Okay, slopes, spot elevations. Then we use detail line to make drawings. Actually, like you can use Revit, a BIM modeling tool, to create drawings. Okay, so this is what we can do. Now, an aligned dimension, what we normally do is like we take dimensions between the grid lines, okay, like that. Then we can take dimensions overall, like tab key, the edge of the building, again the edge of the building, like that, and then we can put it there. Actually, this should be below, this should be higher. Okay, let's put it here. Yeah, this is the overall, this is the, yeah, this is the grids. And then what we need to do is we need to put, again, dimensions for the openings, but we don't have any openings here, so it continues like that, so I'm not going to do that. But we can also put a detail line like that, and also bring it down, and then we can use the text tool like that to put the layers, like brick, sorry, 9 centimeters, air gap 9 centimeters, rigid insulation 6 centimeters, etc., etc. So basically I can put the material list like that as a text. Now this text only appears in this view. If I go to level 1, it's not there, okay, but for this level it appears. The other thing that we can do is we can add tags, okay, like we can add room tags. Room tag, if I click on it, but of course there should be rooms. For that I need to go to level 2, and then I go to architecture. But I think we have to first create rooms. We didn't create rooms. So like for this one, if I go to room, then it's going to use the boundaries and then create rooms. Let's start from here, okay. This is, let's say this is room number 1, room number 2, 3. As you can see, as we create, let's make this one 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just making up. Now these tags, they can also, if you go to edit, they can also include the volume, the area. Like if I click area, it will also tell me how many square meters each room is, okay, and also the volumes. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to add tags to the elements. These were the room tags. Rooms are conceptual things. We create the concept of room, like a space, but then also we tag them. Then we can add, we go to annotate, again, tag by category, like we can tag these windows like that, okay? Now, in this case, these windows are tagged with this American style window tags, okay? I can go edit family. Now I'm going to change it to the style that we use in Turkey, okay? I teach this in 351, or this is what we expect in 355. So this is the family that we are going to edit. So let's get rid of this weird hexagon shape, okay? Then I go to create. Then I want to use the line, okay? And then I'm going to use circle. From the center of this, I'm going to do it like 6 millimeters, okay? Then this is the label, edit type. So this label is, let's change its style to Arial narrow, okay? Apply, okay, the text is now Arial narrow. And then if you go to edit label, it's bringing the type mark, okay? We can also bring, let's see, can we, could we just bring the mark? Just give me a second. Let's keep it there. Let's click on the window. What I want to figure out is that can I bring the mark? Yeah, this is mark. Mark is the window number, okay? So I want to change the mark, the type mark into mark, so that each window is labeled with their specific ID, okay? So I click on that, edit label, type mark I remove, and I add mark. Mark is an instance parameter, which means that every copy of the window brings its own mark, okay? Next, I want to add a line from here to the bottom, okay, like that, maybe 50, okay, 50 millimeters, and that's enough. Then I'm going to add another label, okay, like that. So I want to add the height. Then I'm going to rotate this one like that. Make it smaller. Then move it like that. Okay. Let's do it here. Then I'm going to use Control Shift on my keyboard. I will duplicate that. Then I will edit this label, the new one. Instead of height, I'll remove it. I'll put width. Okay. Add it. Okay. Then I'm going to, again, Control Shift, I'm going to copy it here. I'm going to rotate it like that. I'm going to align it. Then go, sorry, not edit type, edit label. And I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to say seal height. Okay. And then also for prefix, I can say seal height. Okay, and space, and click OK. And then I can make it like that. So this will put the text seal height, then put the seal height from the label. So load into project, overwrite the existing version and its parameter values. Okay, as you can see now they are all placed, but they are a bit weird. So what can we do? Let's use this one. Okay, leader line, let's turn it off, and then horizontal, let's make it vertical. Yeah, now this works perfect. Now for this window, for mark, if I put W01, this is the first window, I have W01. So I'm going to do the same thing for this one. No leader line, and also vertical, apply. And for the window, the instance parameter W02. Okay, so each window is now perfectly no leader line. Leader line is that weird line that's appearing there, and then I can also pick the window W03. Okay, and let's do the last one. I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to say vertical, apply, and I'm going to choose this one, W04. As you can see, now we have created windows with data that's appearing on the we have created tags that are taking the data from the window. If you click on the window, 92 by 183, sill height is 3050. Let's make the sill height like 50 and see what's going to happen. As you can see, this automatically is changed to 50. So this is the beauty of BIM, as you know. This is the beauty of BIM. Now, we are done with that. Now, one more thing. I want to take a section, but I want to create like here. Okay, I'm going to create a system section here. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you detail in BIM, detailing in BIM. So let's switch to thin line, and you go to view. Okay, call out rectangle, and I'm going to pick this for the detailing. As you can see in the section, we have section 1 call out. If I go to that, its scale is 1/50. Let's make it 1/20. Okay, let's make it fine, and hidden line. Okay, now the thing is that this section here is not great for representation. Okay, now like these things needs to be joined. Let's do that. Modify, join the beam and the wall. Okay, is there anything else that needs to be fixed? No. Okay, let's keep it that way. I think there's also another one here, the beam and the wall. Okay, perfect. Now what I'll do is I'll focus on here. Okay, so what we do is, like normally my students suggest in the third year, why don't we just take this, create a drawing and take it to AutoCAD, you know, use it there. The problem is, if something changes in your BIM model, your AutoCAD drawing will be something else, something created in another software environment. Okay, so with BIM, we want to make sure that changes are somehow, you know, changing our drawing too. Now, for that purpose, what I need to do is I will basically be tracing the drawings here. Okay, so this is what I will do. I go to, first, I need to make this a bit less visible. Okay, the display model normal, so we make it halftone. Okay, if I click apply, now everything looks, we can select them, we can, you know, align to them, but they look a bit dull. Okay, like gray. Now, what I will focus on is that this beam and the concrete slab, I'll combine them, make a trace outside that that thing. I go to annotate, I go to detail line. Okay, then for the lines I'm going to use wide lines. Okay, then I'm going to turn off the chain. There is a purpose for that. I'm going to basically start from this edge, okay, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to come here. Then I'm going to lock it. Why do I lock it? Because I'm here. Now, as you can see at the bottom, endpoint of structure framing, concrete rectangular beam, it says. What does it mean? That we are aligning to the beam. I click and click lock. Good. And then I continue like that. Here, structure framing, it's still snapping to the beam. Perfect. Lock. So basically I'm drawing, but meanwhile I'm making sure here now, yeah, structure columns, it says no. Can I use tab? Nope. Column. Well, unfortunately, the beam, I'm using my tab key, but it's not using, it's not catching the beam. Okay, let's start from here then. Let's see if it's going to tab. Unfortunately, yeah, no, it's column. It's not picking the beam, but still we can lock it because this surface is common for everything. And then here we are going to finish and also lock it. Now, what I did is I drew, but let's get rid of that thin line. Now, as you can see, we have a perfectly thick representation. Okay, let's go back to thin line again. This time, what I'll do is I go to annotation and region. Region is hatching, filled region. Okay, it's diagonal cross hatch. Let's say edit type. Do we have concrete? No. Let's duplicate. Let's say concrete. Okay, and let's change it to concrete for the pattern, fill pattern. Apply. Okay, now we will make a concrete fill. This time again we can lock to whatever we are touching. Why do I do that? The reason is, if I lock these lines to existing objects, and if these objects change place, okay, or change shape, let's finish. Now we have created a texture. Let's go back to the thick lines. Okay, now you can see the fill. Now for the display model half tone, okay, if I go and go do not display, now I have a drawing that is coming from the model. Okay, now you might be saying that, well, in AutoCAD I can do it better, etc. Yes, of course, probably, you know, but the issue is, if something changes in the model, your AutoCAD drawing will not be updated. But here, let's see what's going to happen. Let's go to halftone. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to pick, I'll use the tab key on my keyboard, and I'm going to pick the beam. This one, yes, I picked the beam, okay, and I'm going to change the size of the beam. Fingers crossed, this sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. 400 by 800. If I change the size of the beam, at least some portion of the drawing will we have to change. It didn't. Okay, sorry. Yeah, sometimes, as I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe I couldn't pick the exact beam that it was related to. Okay, but anyway, yeah, it's funny when I fail. But anyway, the idea is that at least, I mean, let's say, at least now we can see there is something wrong with the drawing when we put halftone. Okay, so but sometimes, like when it works, okay, it is really useful. It just changes shape. But as I said, sometimes it doesn't work. So what I will do is I will also show you how to create, let's say, these repeating detail elements. Okay, here for instance, let's change the still height of this window to 80. Okay, good. So I want to fill here with concrete masonry units. Okay, so I go to detail components, repeating detail components. Okay, then there is brick. Well, we have brick. The brick is on the outside. It's like that. Okay, I can even start from here. I can start from here, and I can just put brick, okay, like that. And then I can also put insulation. I go to annotate, insulation, and it's 8 centimeters. Let's make this one 6, apply. Then I can put it like that. Probably it was supposed to be 8, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was 7.5, apply. Okay, sorry, this one, 7.5. Okay, as you can see, nice. So we have the insulation. Now I want to put the concrete masonry in it. So again, repeating component, edit type, duplicate. We don't have CMU, CMU. Okay. Okay, but do we have CMU? No. So we need to load what? We need to load CMU profile. Okay, then we go to insert, load family. Okay, detail items, masonry, concrete masonry units, CMU 2 core section. That's good. And it's now loaded. Okay, let's go back to the annotation, components, edit type, duplicate. We'll do the same thing again, CMU. Okay, then for that we use 2 core section, 200 by 200 by 400, this one. Okay, and now the layout fixed distance, we can say fixed number. Okay, click apply. Okay, and then if I start from here, no, that's not the right one. Let's do it again. Component, edit type, it should be fill available space, or it should be fixed distance. Okay, but instead of 750 it should be 20. Click apply. Okay, yep, as you can see, we have now created concrete masonry units. Then of course you can use detail line to create, let's switch to a thin line. You can use the detail line to create different, let's say not wide but medium lines maybe. Okay, you can create the, okay, and then if you go to, if you turn off the thin line, let's turn off the halftone, like do not display. As you can see, now we have created a beautiful, sharp, perfect drawing out of the model. Okay, you can even add other things like detail items. Okay, like detail components, load family. You go to detail items, and for instance, like metals, metal fastenings. You have all kinds of bolts, nuts, anchor bolts, and side connections, base plates, etc., which work perfectly. Okay, so, and then if you add them, they will appear on the drawing. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, one final thing. But once you have done all these things, you go to sheets, right click, new sheet. Okay, let's use Azerometric. You create a sheet, then you put your drawings in that sheet. Like you have this drawing here, you pull it, put it here, and it's going to come like that. Okay, you put it there. Yeah, the drawing is now on the sheet. Here there is this, if you click on it, this is a viewport. So the drawing is on the sheet with a viewport. Okay, so it's the viewport brings the sheet. You You can activate the view, or if you double click on it, if it will activate. If you activate the view, you can basically make changes like the you can change, we cannot because they're locked, but you can change the section drawing for a section line like that. You can change the text, etc., whatever you want. And then if you double click on empty space, it will disappear, the activation. If you click on it, viewport, the style of the viewport is title with line, which is this one. If you put no title, then your drawing appears only, and your drawings details like the scale, like 1/50, appears on the sheet. So how does it work? If you click on the sheet, if you go to edit family, this is the, not sheet, I'm sorry, title block, we call it. The title block is A0 metric, so the outer line is A0 file size, the paper size, okay? And all these you can just select, like you can delete these, you can add, like these are all coming from the project, like client's name, the project name, edit, these are all labels. The scale, as you can see, these are all the labels. If there are many elements with different scales on the drawing sheet, then it will say, you know, something else. You can put dates, etc. So this is how it is controlled. So basically, you can change this. You can take all these, delete them. Like you can delete all that, and yep, like delete all that, and you can create lines like that. This should be probably, what is this one? Medium line. So this should be also medium line, and this is the line thickness. And you can change everything that you want, and then load into project or project 3, of course. Overwrite the existing version as parameter values. Now you get rid of all other things. Okay, so this is how you deal with these sheets. Now, if you want to print, okay, you go to, like, you want to print PDF files, you go to File, okay, Exports, PDF. Now you receive the PDF export menu. Okay, what do you want to export? Not current window. You want to export selected views sheets in session. If you click edit, here you have the things like if you want only the sheets, okay, all sheets. So you only see the sheets. So this is a sheet that you want to print. Okay, click select. Now you have selected the sheet that you have just created. Page size, sheet size, so the PDF file will be A0 size perfectly. Paper placement center, okay. Fit to page or zoom 100%, okay, that's better. Output vector processing, it will turn it into vectors, okay, that's good. Color if you want, if you don't want black lines, grayscale, black lines. And you can make these changes, etc. Where do we want to save it? Browse, D drive, my computer, D drive, open. Do we have Arch? No, why? I don't have Arch file here. Okay. Anyway, I will just leave it there. And the file name project 3 tests, okay, print, export, yes, no, no. Basically it will now export this and create a PDF file. Let's go and have a look at it. D project 3 text test PDF file, 325 kilobytes. Sumatra, of course, always. Now this is the PDF file. If I zoom in, you can see it is vector based. It's perfectly crisp. No matter how much you zoom in, it's going to look very nice. Okay, so let's zoom down. Let's go back to, yeah, here we go. So it will all look nice. Okay. Yeah. Let's zoom in further. See, no matter how much I zoom in, it's perfect. So what you do is, if you take it to the print shop, you tell them, print this 1 to 100, like 100 scale. Okay, perfectly, because this is A3. You can say that this is the A0 size paper, and then print it on A0 paper perfectly, or like make sure that it's 100% printed. If you do that, then it will look nice and crisp, and this is because it's vector based, it's clean. Okay, so that's the idea. So yep, and the file size is tiny when you think of it. Okay, it's tiny, and you can even use this PDF file, put it into some vector editing software, and then you can play with it there too. So it's a good idea to print as a PDF file using the software to have this perfect representation in terms of the line thickness, etc. Then you can do coloring in other software environments. Okay, good. I think I will stop here, and I hope this would be useful for you for the next stages in your school life. Okay, and until then, goodbye. Have a nice summer holiday, and we will see you when you start your third year. Bye.